Just want to bring up H.R. 3200 one more time. A few weeks ago, I had mentioned concern with Section 1234 that reads that in the case of any individual who is a covered beneficiary, as defined by blah, 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 it's TRICARE, the military health insurance. At the time the individual is entitled to hospital insurance benefits under Part A, Section 226, blah, 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 who is eligible to enroll but has elected not to enroll, during that individual's initial enrollment period, there shall be a special enrollment period described in paragraph 2. Now, it took me a while to figure this out. As you know, it takes hours to decipher one paragraph of H.R. 3200 because as you're reading it, you have to revert back to other portions of the document, or you have to revert to the Social Security Act or the Medicaid Act or the Medicare Act or the IRS. But what Section 1234 does is adds an amendment to the Social Security Act regarding special enrollment periods to include military disabled personnel and retired veterans. And what it says is that for those military retirees or disabled veterans who are not yet enrolled in Medicare, there shall be a special enrollment period. They'll also waive the penalties and fees that are normally incurred when you do something outside of the regular enrollment period, which I believe runs January to May, the year you turn, something like that. A White House blog said, quote, health reform will only build on our commitment to military health care. TRICARE will continue to be available for all eligible servicemen and women and their families. The health reform legislation that's being considered would enable those who are covered by TRICARE to, and here's where it gets sticky, meet the shared responsibility requirement for individuals to have insurance, thereby exempting such members of the uniformed services and dependents from being assessed penalties. Well, that sounds very nice. Let's take that piece by piece. There are a couple of problems with this. First, we need to ask ourselves these questions. This section is basically encouraging individuals who are eligible for TRICARE to switch over to Medicare instead. That's my reading of it. If someone else there wants to challenge me on that, great. So the goal here is to kind of steer military retirees and disabled veterans to choose Medicare over TRICARE. It's your choice, they say. They're going to make it easier for you. Why? Why do they want to do this? It's just a question. Also, you recall further down in this section, it says that the Defense Secretary and the Secretary of Health and Human Services together to, quote, identify these individuals. Why? Aren't our disabled vets and military veterans capable of doing the research themselves and making this choice? How are individuals who are 65 and not disabled and not in the military, how are they identified? When mom or grandma turns 65, does someone come to their door and say, hey, you know what, you qualify for Medicare and Social Security? Why does the DOD and the HHS need to seek these people out? I'm just asking the question. Are they going to strongly encourage them to join the new exchange, go over to the public option? I'd be curious to see what they mean by this exactly. Another red flag is when we see that term shared responsibility. It is a prime part of H.R. 3200. It includes those taxes on individuals who don't buy health insurance, 2.5% of your gross income, by the way, and employer responsibility, 411. Last I checked, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and National Guard were indeed employers. So you can see another problem here. Congressman Joe Wilson from South Carolina said, quote, unfortunately, this legislation's broad definition of employment-based health plan appears to include TRICARE, which means its complex new system of mandates and penalties would apply to the Department of Defense. My amendment simply clarifies that TRICARE is not subject to H.R. 3200's new mandate and penalty scheme or any other elements of the legislation. It's about allowing our brave soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines to keep what they have. If anyone claims the bill is not intended to cover TRICARE, it's all the more critical that they vote for this simple, clarifying amendment to make sure that the bill is absolutely clear on this point. There has been no movement on that amendment, by the way. That's Congressman Wilson. It looks to me like H.R. 3200 has received enough death blows that it's probably going to die. But there are so many people out there who want that single-payer option so badly that they're not going to give up. I think after they come back from this recess, they're going to tweak it, and they're going to change it. They're going to omit things, and they're going to add things. and they're going to slap a new name on it and try it again. So get ready for another fight. You've been listening to the Amy McManus Show on AM 1480 WLEA. Coming up next, Brian O'Neill with Connections.